Y'all ready? Everybody got their Bible to Daniel?
No.
I think it's hot.
Yeah.
Better than being cold.
That's good.
I'm sweating. I am sweating.
You can borrow it.
Don't just look at me. Prophecy of Daniel is one of the most readable and how the Bible said, interesting books in the Bible. It really is. Daniel is pretty awesome when you get in and you read Daniel. Like chapters 1 through 6, they're like vivid and exciting. I mean, you can read Daniel and really get excited about it. And the visions and the rest of the books, you know, like 7 through 12, or I don't know, they're like the 4 beasts of Daniel. Have you ever read that? The 4 beasts of Daniel? Anybody ever read that? Anybody else ever read Daniel?
Oh, I've gone through Daniel
A few times. Daniel's pretty interesting, really, if you think about it. He does a lot of prophesying, and you got the 4 beasts of Daniel, like the 7-3, they are thought to be the 4 great world powers, like the Babylonians, the Medo, Persian, the Macedonians, and the Romans. He tried to, and a lot of people get that these are the 4 that's going to be the dominant. You know what I mean? Like everybody thinks the United States is going to be dominant in the end, but it's not really. It's the United States, I believe, will just be by itself when you get down to it. But the Romans are going to kick back up, and you take what's another country that's starting to pick back up over there? I can't think of the name of it. They used to be real powerful back in the days. Germany. I believe Germany's going to rise up again. A lot of people believe that. And if you look at Euro, y'all heard of Euro, right?
Yeah.
That's their dollar. And you know, there was a time like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago that I'd done a little bit of investing, and I thought about. I'd read the Bible a lot, and so I invested in the Euro. And our money here had failed, but I invested over there, and while our money here was falling, the Euro was going up. And like down here, people's money was going downhill when you had it in an IRA or something like that, and mine grew $1,000 in like 2 years just to the Euro, you know. And a lot of people believe that Germany and all these other countries are going to rise up, and that's where you got to watch. And if you look now, they're really starting to happen. What Daniel prophesied is really starting to happen.
The big ones that it prophesies in Ezekiel is Russia and Iran. They're going to be a big deal.
But Iran has a goal to destroy Israel.
But that's
that's
been Satan's goal all along, though.
You know, and have you seen the news the other day? I don't know if y'all seen that, but Iran showed their missiles. They showed some missiles they had just made, and so I mean, Daniel does a lot of prophesying. It's a great book to go into and read. Let's see. The second vision, Daniel, is thought to refer to the rule of the Greek under Alexander the Great. Now, we've all heard of Alexander the Great, right? I mean, all our lives I've heard of him. And
They showed something on the news the other day that in Jerusalem they found some stuff that is older than Alexander the Great.
really, I get into stuff like that. If you look in the visions in chapters 10 through 12. Now, y'all can write this down and go home and really study it, and maybe we'll go to it right now, but they refer to the events at the end of time. So let's just take a agenda. Daniel, chapter 10 through 12.
Can I point out something?
Yeah.
In chapter 9, there's something very interesting. This was written, 500 years before Christ? 400 or 500 years? It tells exactly to the year when Christ would be crucified in advance. If you do the math on the weeks that it talks about, it'll lay it out exactly to the year when Christ was crucified. It's talking about from when the order goes out to rebuild the temple and the walls until Christ is cut down. It'll be this many weeks, which is a week is 1 week in there is 7 years. It's weeks of, instead of 7 days, it's 7 years. So 1 week is 7 years and so on. So it tells how many weeks until Christ is cut off, and then the final week, the last 7 years, which is tribulation, we're like in a big pause period between the crucifixion and the final 7.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Alan, you have something you want to say?
Yeah, actually, Daniel 7's where it starts off about the little horn. Antiochus Epiphanes.
Now, I like chapter 10, and y'all gonna like this. And let's start the first verse 1. Daniel is something that if you got time, if you truly got time to sit down and take Daniel and run your references through Daniel and all that, you'll find that there's a lot about Daniel that God wanted you to know about the end of time.
Yeah.
He wanted you to, you see, God gives you warnings all through the Bible in your life, and you'll find it like, and there's a lot of places, different places in the Bible, but Daniel is pretty cool. Now, verse 1 said, in the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed to Daniel, whose name was called Bethelshazzar, right?
Belshazzar.
Bethelshazzar. And the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing, and he had understanding of the vision. In those days, Daniel was mourning 3 full weeks. You know, something happened. We'll stop there for a second. The other day, I don't know, Monday, I got up and I just had inside of me something I had a burden for something, and it went on for days. I mean, it finally ended the day, but there was something that I had a burden for, and I don't know what it is. I still don't know, but I know God can reveal it. But you ever get a feeling inside of you, you just feel hurt. You don't know why, and you know, it ain't nothing in your life, and not in your family, but you just, something inside of you, I don't know, just a burden inside, and really it's for somebody else, you know, and God wants you to pray for somebody. Remember that God wants you to pray for somebody. He said, I ate no pleasant bread, neither came fish nor wine in my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all, till the 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 4th and 20th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Adikel, or the Tigris. We know it's the Tigris River.
Yeah.
Then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. And if you look in Revelations, you'll find that it's description a lot like this in Revelations, which Tim will get into that when we get there. His body also like the beryl, and his face is as appearance of lightning, and his eyes as lamps of fire. Now, I did preach to y'all a while back about whenever Moses had came down with the 10 Commandments. Y'all recall that he'd come down on a mountain, but when you get to reading before that God himself, as in the lightning and the thunderstorm, had came down to the people himself and told them the 10 Commandments. You ever read that? He had came down and told the people himself through lightning and thunder about the 10 Commandments. Then Moses came down and had them written in stone. I love this. This is one of my favorite parts of the Bible. His face is light in his eyes, a lamp of fire in his arms, and like peat, like in color to polished brass. And the voice of the words, like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw not the vision, but a great quaking fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. You know, the Bible talks about there was another great quaking that's going to come about after this, and the greatest earthquake that's ever happened, ever in history, was when Jesus died on the cross. Now, when Jesus died on the cross, the earthquake was so major, and you think about it, we've never, ever have recorded an earthquake like this, that it shook the earth, that it woke the dead. Those that were dead, and it came back to life, and actually came back and walked the earth again. That was so great of a quake that it brought back the dead. So you got to remember that this was a great quake, but this one here, there's one coming that's even more. When Jesus does. Let's see. And they fled to hide themselves. Verse 8, therefore I was left alone and saw the great vision, and there remained no strength in me, for my comeliness was turning me into corruption, and I retained no strength. And
in other words,
I was just gonna say where it's talking about they fled, hid themselves with the earthquake. At the end of chapter 6 in Revelation, when the wrath of the Lamb comes, they go to hide themselves in the mountains
And wish for
and
death.
pray. Pray for the
death.
rocks to fall on them.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, like Cheyenne Mountain and all these underground bunkers that the government's made, that's where the elite and the government's supposed to be going. All the countries, all the other countries are having the same way. They got underground bunkers and all, but they'll still have the wrath of Jesus on them.
But when we get to this part here where we're at right now, I want you all to understand where Daniel's going to go with this. Daniel is going to give you an insight of what it will be like when you stand before Jesus Christ. Now, he's going to give you a complete insight of what it's going to be like. And there's going to be people, let me tell you, the Bible even says there's going to be people in that time that will call him a liar. He don't know what he's talking about. There's going to be people that's going to beg for mercy. There's going to be people, but Daniel is he's showing you something. And did you see what he said? He said, I had no strength. I retained no strength. So when you stand before God, you're not going to be able to jump up and go, I'll fight you. You're not going to have no strength. You're not going to have nothing within you. You're going to listen to the man. You think about that. You're going to listen to God. And that's what Daniel's trying to show us here. He says, I retain no strength. Can you imagine that? You ever been so tired you couldn't hold your head up? You couldn't get out of bed, you couldn't do nothing. Imagine it'd be 10 times worse than that. Now, and yet, heard I the voice of his words, and when I heard the voice of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face. Now that's important. And my face towards the ground.
That's
a form of worship, is it not?
That's being slain in the spirit.
Right. That is a form of worship. Whenever you're praying, and and you're going to be you're going to be on your face. You're going to be on your knees. You're going to be down. You're not going to. You can't talk no kind of smack. Nobody will be able to talk no kind of smack to Jesus Christ in that time. They might try. There's going to be some that can run their mouth, but they ain't going to go far. And but he's telling you right there that my face is toward the ground, and you know how imagine that'd be scary to be, and you stand up with Jesus Christ, and there is no more hope. And I truly believe this. I believe that when you die, and I said this before, that when you die, you immediately know where you're going.
Right.
I don't believe he's going to have to tell you nothing. As soon as you're going to be standing in front of him, you're going to know. There'll be no questions asked. I met a guy the other day, yesterday, and I want to tell y'all this. It bothered me. It really was a black guy, and I respect all kind of race people. I respect everybody. When I first went to his house, and we was sitting there talking, and he was like, I got to go to Bible study. I got to go. I'm a teacher, and I got to get through he didn't have no power, and he said, I got to go to teach my people and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, we got to talk about the Lord, and it was all good. Well, by the end of the day, we got his power on, and he came out there talking to us, and I heard something. And I heard him cuss. I'm like, he just cussed. And I said, oh, it happens. It happens to everybody. So it went on, and I heard him say GD. And I was like, whoa. God revealed something to me at that time that not everybody, just because you think you are who you think you are, sometimes you're not who you need to be. You need to be more.
Right.
And I asked that guy if he ain't saved or nothing. I said, did you hear what he said? He said, I heard him say GD. I was like, wow. He said, he said, that was the first thing that hit my mind when he said that. I was like, whoa. And so many people are like that. They think that, I can live any way I want to, and tonight I want to tell you can't.
Amen.
You cannot. You can't live the way Laney said, well, I got my life, you got your life. You do this, you do that, I'll do this, and do what I want. You cannot. Let me tell you this. If our lives do not line up with this right here, you're in trouble.
Amen.
I'm going to tell you straight up. If our lives do not line up with this word, 100%, not 80, not 40, not 99, have to be 100%.
Right.
We're going to be standing before God, and you got to realize Daniel is giving you a taste of what it was like when he stood before Jesus. Y'all think about it. When he stood before Jesus, he was at awe. He's like, oh God. You know what I mean? He said, I had no strength. I couldn't do nothing. I had no power. He said, next thing I know, it was on my face. This is probably my favorite. If I could preach this all the time, I'd probably preach it all the time. But, in verse 10, it says, and behold, a hand touched me with setting me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hand. And he said unto me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright. For unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when you stand for Jesus? I'm going to tremble. Because I am in front of you. You're going to be in front of the Almighty God.
Right.
The man. That's what I'm with front the man. You're going to be in front of the man. I mean, he holds everything right there in the palm of his hand. He got you. He got every one of us.
Right. Amen.
You know what he tells us? He says, I have measured upon everybody has faith. Everybody. He said, I have given everybody a certain amount of faith. Now, you can build that faith up or you can build it down. But he said, I give you this much faith. Now, you got to work on it. How do I work on it? You get into the Word. You study it. You learn. And the more you learn about God, the more you want to serve Him. But Daniel was giving you something that you need to know. I mean, this is for every church preacher should preach is. You want to know, I can only imagine what it'd be like when I stand for God. Daniel is giving you that right here in his Word. Right here in chapter 10, he's giving you exactly what you're going to do when you stand before God. You know what else he said? He said that not everybody that cries unto me will make it to heaven. Right. Not everybody says, Lord, Lord, shall enter into heaven. There's a lot of folks out there that are they're deceiving people, like the guy I was with yesterday. You know, he deceived all these people, but yet he deceived himself. You know what I mean? He got realized, and he kept on. I mean, once he got cranked up, I'm telling y'all, it was on. He was cussing and cussing and cussing, and I was like, oh God, you know, I really didn't want to talk to him anymore. I really wanted to walk off, but I was stuck in a situation where I had to be there. And but there's so many people like that, and Daniel, if they would go into Daniel and say, and really read what's going to happen, you're going to tremble before God. You're going to be on your face, but you know what he says? He picks him up. You're not going to get up unless he picks you up. You're not going to get up off that ground. You're not going to do nothing until he allows you to do that. Then said to me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand. And did y'all catch it?
The first day.
From the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand. He had to make an effort. Did y'all see that? I want y'all to see that. It's so important. Thou didst set thine heart to understand, and to chasten thyself before thy God. Thy words were heard, and I am come for thy words. You see, it's the same way with Daniel as it is with us. If you make no effort towards God, you do nothing, you're going to get what you put in it. Nothing.
That's right.
Nothing. You'll get nothing of what you put in it. Now, if you go to work and you give 110% every day, what's going to happen? You'll move up, right? But if you go to work and you just lay around and take you a nap, and I'm guilty of that, but I still work. I make up for my part, you know what I mean? But if you go to work and you take naps 3 hours, and then you go take a lunch for 3 hours, and you charge them for 8, and the other 2 you're in the bathroom, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get fired. You're going to get fired with God.
That's right. He'll take you out of the book.
God don't fire you. Yes, He does. Yes, He will. You know what He says? If you turn your back on me, He's going to try His best to get you to come, and He's going to work and try to get you there. Everybody, He's going to try to get you there, but guess what? If you go, get off of me. I'm tired. I don't want nothing to do with church. And I've heard it all my life. You go talk to people, I don't need church. You ever heard that? I don't need to go to church. I don't need God. I mean, hey.
I got a funny story about that actually. So it was over Facebook, right? This girl makes this post. She's like, I think I should become a stripper for the money. And I was just like, well, I don't think you should do that. I gave her a Bible verse, and she was like, well, me and God are on the best of terms right now. It's like, well, okay.
Okay. You understand.
There's a lot of people like that, and then God you know, and I thought about it the other day, God put it in my heart.
Or they say
That
God understands.
everybody, we are 1 second. They got this. We are 1 second away from death.
That's right.
1 second. I mean, you're probably not even a second, but
Yeah.
I'm giving it benefit of the doubt. You are 1 second away from death. All of our children are 1 second. It don't take but 1 second. You're down. You're out. It's over. I mean, we're not promised one more second of the day, and so you're not promised tomorrow. You're not promised the next till 8, 9 o'clock.
That's right.
That's it.
Amen.
I mean,
Yeah.
Fall out any
A
time.
lot of
there is
people.
nothing in this life that's worth anybody who dying on hell for.
I have a testimony. It's a little bit personal, but it has to do with when I was saved. I lost my mind, literally, and I was handcuffed to a gurney in the emergency room, and I was on my way to being sent to a mental health facility. And while I was handcuffed there, I was hallucinating, and I hallucinated that I had died. And I was in the process of being transported to hell. And as violent and rebellious as I was, my attitude towards it was, I understand this, I accept it, and I deserve it. I deserve to go. And then I was just asking God to please be patient with me and not make the trip too quickly, to give me time to adjust. You know, like I'm being transported in the vehicle, and I'm trying to, you know, slow down, don't take me so quickly. But the fact of the matter is, when I felt that I came face to face with God, my attitude on it was, whatever you say is righteous and true, and I accept it as what I deserve. And I mean, that was the process of how I got saved. But I mean, it's the most frightened I've ever been in my entire life.
That's sort of like the story I told about the man that died, and he was in hell for, I forget how long it was, and you know, and I told you he was in hell, and there was these bars in there, and he was inside these bars. He couldn't get out. It was hot. He could see a little like flicker, like a little fire, you know, and he said that, you know, when he was in there, he didn't really believe in God or heaven, hell. He just lived his life, and he said when he seen the bars and he could hear screaming, but when he seen this monster come by, it looked like a monster to him, and you know, and he said it came in his cage and it threw him around, and he realized that he felt when he was in hell. He knew he was in hell, and he felt when it threw him up against the wall, and it broke his bones, and they were, you know, and this monster, whatever it was, just stayed on top of him, just hurt him. You know, and he said, I felt the pain, I felt the heat. I just wanted a drink of water. He said, I wanted something. I could scream, but I just couldn't get nothing by it. And I believe that somebody else told me one time that if you can take your worst fear, some people view with spiders, you know, and can you imagine eternity with spiders and all different kinds of spiders, whatever? And Frank, I don't know your fear, but I mean, spiders. I mean, can you imagine can you imagine continually, you know, your greatest fear you ever had? And some women, it's rape, somebody breaking in and raping them, or somebody, there's so much that you have, and can you imagine your worst fear is it's going to be beyond that. You're going to fear the spider because they're going to be all over you. You know, some people have snake, you know, what they call it, snakeophobia. You know, it's going to be your worst fear in hell. But he also said, I'll give you something else. He said, God offered us something else, everybody. He offered us heaven. He said, you know what? He even went as far as said, I'm going to write a book for every one of you. Here's an instruction book. Have you ever went, guys, we do this. You ever went to put something together? And there's instructions right there.
I use it.
And we got that in our head, and women do it too sometimes, but most of the guys, we like, I don't need that, I look at the picture. You know what I mean? I'll look at the picture and make it right. You know what I mean? And so we got to put it together, and here you are, you got all these extra bolts.
Where's that go?
Yeah. And then you got a piece of it. What is that? I don't think we need that piece. I don't need the instructions in it. That's right. See? Here we have an instruction book, and a lot of people try to get to the end of it and say, well, I'm just going to look at the end. I might need a little thing here, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. I don't don't need all this. I don't need the Old Testament. I just need the New Testament. God ain't got nothing to do with me, but tonight I want you to know the Old Testament has everything to do with every one of them.
Amen.
Your instruction right here, this is, when you look at the Old Testament, that's who God is. Now, you take a look at Jesus. Jesus came with a reason. And I'm going to tell y'all some reasons why Jesus came. Now, a lot of people say he just came just to die on the cross. That's not true. He came to live the life here on this earth 33 years. Okay? He went through everything that every one of us experienced in this life. There's nothing that he don't know. You know why he did that? So when you stood before him, you cannot look at him and say, you don't know what it was like.
That's right.
He's going to say, I knew exactly what it was like. I lived in the flesh. He came also to be a teacher. He came to teach us how to get to heaven. You know what? He even teaches you how to pray. Well, back then they prayed so many different ways. What did he say to pray? Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. You know what I mean? He said, that's how he said, start your prayers out. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Now you can go on and read the rest. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive no trespass against us. But he said, start your prayers out with our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And you'll be amazed at what will happen when you start your prayers out right. He also goes through and says, I want to do something else as more. He could have just got on that cross and died. I mean, come on. But he took a beating. Everybody, I want you to understand this. They put the crown of thorns on him. They spit on him. Now, most guys, they spit on you, it's on. You're going to fight. I mean, that's, in this life, that's fighting words, right? If somebody comes up and Frank starts pulling his beard, guess what? Frank's going to start swinging. If they start pulling J.W.'s hair, Rick's beard, or any of y'all's hair or beard, guess what? You're going to fight. But you know what Jesus said? Jesus said, I'm not going to do that because I want to show you that you can go through all these trials and never sin.
That's right.
Think about that.
You can.
It can be done. And with Jesus, when you stand there, women, when that man beating on you, that woman beating on you, it's the same deal at work. Somebody is taking you to your limit that you didn't want to go. And let me tell you, you can take it. You know how? Through prayer.
Amen.
Through prayer. What did he say when he got on the cross? You know what he said? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they did. Right?
Yeah.
He forgave him immediately. Now, me and myself, I don't think I can do that personally, y'all. Personally, I want you to understand, and I ain't trying to take a lot of your time up, and I wasn't prepared, but, you know, I feel pretty good right now. Jesus' purpose wasn't just for the cross. That was his end result. He took on the sins of the world. He took on the sin for you. Right?
That's right.
Now Daniel here is giving everybody an example. You can read all you want. Chapter 10. Daniel is giving everyone of you an example of what it's going to be like when you stand before God. There's a lot more to it than what I just read. There's a lot more to it. He's letting you know exactly what you're going to do that moment you stand before God.
Yes.
Jesus had another purpose. You know what it was? He pulled down an iron curtain, right? He made it to where you and I did not have to go to some priest with our animal. And all I got's a cat and a dog, and I would glad to take a cat. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I let him have the cat, you know.
No.
Take the cat. I didn't say that. Take my dog. I mean, it don't matter. But he knew that in time, you and I, the world was going to be different. He already knew that. God knows everything. Ain't nothing, anybody in the church, you're hiding from God.
That's right.
He sees you when you're naked. He sees you in the shower.
Amen.
He sees you when you're asleep. He sees you when you're at work. He sees you. And now, you know what? He also has a good sense of humor. You know God has to laugh. There's some things that are just funny.
Yeah.
I mean, there really are. There's some things. I've done things in my life and I have to laugh myself. I have tripped over my own feet, and I never progressed, you know, and I just fell. I mean, you know, he had to laugh. God had to laugh, and I was laughing with it. You know what I mean? God has a sense of humor. You know, laughter is good for us, but Jesus came because you and I was not going to have no animal to sacrifice. We ain't going to have no lamb. We ain't going to have no ox. We ain't got none of that stuff. All we got is us. Lord, I give you all me. I'm it. I give everything I got, Lord. You know what he tells us? He wants everything you got. He wants 100%. He don't want 80% of you. He wants 100.
Amen.
You know what he tells us? He said, I want to be first, not last.
That's right.
You put me last, and I'll put you last.
That's right.
If we don't put God first in our lives, we are going to face a judgment that none of us want. That guy fooled me, y'all. I want y'all to know that guy had me fooled right from the get-go. And I was talking the word to him. We were talking about the Bible, and like I say, at the end, I didn't talk about the Bible while we just got through, and all of a sudden, it just exploded, and I couldn't believe what I was heard. But you know, that's what got here too. You see, not only I heard it, and not only the guy I worked with heard it, but God heard it too. But you know what the Bible says? He said, I'll reveal you to me. I'll reveal you somewhere down the line. God will reveal who we truly are.
Amen.
He's going to reveal every one of us to somebody. Somebody's going to see who you really are. And a lot of times, you know who it is? It's our children. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you the truth. Your children know you better than anybody.
Right.
Frank, they know who you are. They live in your house. They know Frank. They know Frank better than I know Frank. I know you pretty good, but they know you a whole lot better. Mm-hmm. They know Wanda. Your daughter knows you. And Bud, they know you. She can probably tell me things, and you know, hey, my mom. And I've been to kids' house, and they go, man, you're such a Christian. The kind of kids go, who? Who? I said, your daddy, your mom and dad say, oh, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But see, God does.
That's right.
And that's what's important. God knows who you are outside these church doors, and you know, and it's so important that we're all going to die in a second. Think about that. In 1 second, we're all going to die. It's eventually going to come your turn. You're going to take that last breath. Rhonda was telling about this young lady that 40-some years old, and you know, I bet you a year ago she'd have never imagined that a year from that time she'd fix and die. That she was knocking on heaven's door. The same as Wanda. Wanda would not have never expected it to go to a doctor, and Wanda's young, and you know, and she goes to the doctor, and all of a sudden they say, oh God, you got the C word. You know, she said, no, I don't. No, I'm healed. Faith.
Right.
Faith. Think about it. Faith. If they come up to you and told you had cancer, look at the guy that sings for the group. He's a good inspiration.
Yeah.
He was singing his song.
Marco?
Yeah, Mark Hall.
He was singing his song. He's in the biggest trial of his life. And I want to tell everybody here, there's going to come a day you come to the biggest trial in your life. Some people with divorce. I had a friend that many years ago I grew up with, and him and his wife went to get divorced, and he just couldn't live with it. He could not live with that knowing that he's going through divorce, and in Kannapolis up here, he parked and crawled on the railroad tracks, and the train hit him and killed him. He done it on purpose. Locked his doors, nobody could save him, and they couldn't stop it, and you know, he died. Some people, there's many different reasons that people do things. Sometimes it's your trial. It could be your job. It could be anything down the road. Penny, it could be your children, your sons, you know, really tempting you. But you can make it through your trials through prayer, church, and reading your word. Anybody have any questions?
2 years ago, last month, I went through the biggest trial I ever been through in my life. I went to God in prayer, and I've done what He told me to do because you done what I asked you to do. It's going to be okay. And it was.
And here's something for you, y'all. In closing, I'm going to do this. You have something that you can give to people outside of here. You can say, have you ever wondered what it'd be like when you stand before God? Yeah, everybody wonders. Everybody wonders that. Take them to Daniel 10 and say, let me read it to you. Watch them flip out like that old girl that you were talking about on the strip. You know what I'm talking about? Say, hey, have you ever wondered what it'd be like when you stand before God? We're not on good terms, but wouldn't you like to know what it'd be like? Why don't you just read this and see? You know what I mean? And sometimes it opens people's eyes. Have you ever wondered what it'd be like? You know, I often wondered until I read it. And I was like, oh God. I mean, think about it. He loses his breath. He can't breathe. He has no strength, and he's just like an old rag doll laying on the ground, you know. He has nothing, and you're going to be there. Everybody, you need to understand this. You will stand before God.
Amen.
I promise you that. And you're going to take your last breath, and you know, everybody here, we know our lives. And like that guy told me yesterday, he said, we all got something in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We all do. There's always something in our lives that we would like to change, and it's just a progress and work, but everybody, we have something in our lives, but some people have a whole lot more than something, they have many. You know what I mean? And we have to get closest to God as we can, because there ain't a single person here getting any younger.
That's right.
And none of them. I had a friend, and she was in her 40s. I'd say 40 something. Anyway, they had left somebody's house, and she was driving home, and she had told her husband, she said, I got to pull over, I got a bad headache. She said, bad headache. She said, man, my head about to quit. So he pulled in at the store, and she told him, she said, you need to go call 911. And they were my neighbors. They live right behind me. I've known them for many, many, many years. And she told him, she said, I'm going to pull over, you got to call 911. So back then, they didn't carry cell phones. You had money back then, you know. They still had phone booths out there. So she pulled into a phone booth, and he went to the phone to call 911, and he turned around and he seen her do this. And that was it. She died right there in that car. You know, she never knew that was her last day. My daddy died when I was a young kid, and he went to the bathroom, and they found him dead. He didn't know that was his. I wasn't but 1 year old, and he had another daughter on the way, and he had another daughter. She was about 2 years old, and he never knew that was his last day. He never knew that was his last breath he would take. And it's the same way, y'all. One day you're not going to realize it, it's going to hit you. But you know what God will do?
What about people that tell you all the time, I don't know if y'all ever heard it or not, what about people that tell you, I want to die, I want to go?
Usually that's the elderly.
Well, he was 65.
Yeah.
He was 65, but I've heard him say many times, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
But you
I'm
know,
ready to go home.
there's a lot of people
A lot of
like
people
that,
are.
the elderly.
This is the way I found it. It's time to choose.
My
Get
grandfather
ready to
was
go.
saying that.
I ain't got a shadow of a doubt, I know what my dad's dead, my dad's dead. I mean,
Well, my dad was the same way. He wanted
there's,
to.
no question saith, I know what that.
But you know what? A lot of people get like I've heard it, because when you get to a certain age, you've done all that you wanted to do, and you can't do the things that you really want to do more. So you know you've done all that you can do in this life, so you're ready to go to the next. That's what I've always heard. You know, you've done all you can do. Like if I'm bedridden, take me out.
Yeah.
Shoot me, man. You come here, shoot me. Somebody shoot me. If I'm laying in bed and I'm bedridden, I can't get out. Somebody come here and
Go ahead
shoot
and
me.
shoot it.
She probably do that. She make anybody with Teresa.
There will be too many people.
She might be suffer.
This is God's load.
I just wanted to tell you all about an experience I had not too long ago. Pertains with the whole death and heaven thing. I was homeless a couple years ago, and my grandfather, he had just died, and I got word like that day. And then that night, I was with some friends, and I had some crazy experience where I think it might have been a near-death experience. Like I think I might have actually died, but I wasn't sure. All I know is like I fell on the ground, like I collapsed on the ground, and then like I saw this bright light, and then like I knew my grandfather. Like I felt his presence, and this light was like the most beautiful, like enticing thing I've ever seen. Every little bit of my being wanted so bad to be part of this light, because I knew that everything I loved, everything I ever would love was part of that light. But this voice came to me and it said it's not your time. And I think that was the voice of God, because like no matter how much I wanted to be part of whatever that light was, I had no choice when that word spoke to me. I immediately went back to my body, and like I stood up and just was in awe of what just happened. But it like that moment like calmed all my fears and all my anxieties at the time, because I was under a lot of stress, and And I knew that my grandfather was in a good place after that. And after that, I'm not afraid of dying.
Yeah, when I had my heart attack, I was in Tim's house. I was in his house when I had my heart attack, because I was running around with his daughter. And when I died, they brought me back. When I woke up on the operating table, the guy that put me stents in my heart told me, he said, you was in a good place, wasn't you? And I thought, I don't know why. He said, because you kept smiling. You was always smiling. I didn't see nothing. I can't remember nothing. But he said you were smiling the whole time we was working on it. I hope that's what I hope that's what I
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it's not like I saw it. It's like all my senses were one, and like what I felt was what I was seeing and hearing and touching and like tasting all at the same time. It was just like it was like no experience you could ever imagine. Like there's nothing in this world I can use to describe it.
being in that state, how big, strong, and mighty you think you are, you resemble with that young sitting right there. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing at all.
I had switched, I remember last 2007, my first 3 days, I didn't know I was in the world. God was with me.
Yeah, well, I'm just
But see,
my dad, he had Alzheimer's. He had to heal a lot. But you know what? You talk to him about Jesus and he'll let you know the word. Jesus was with him the whole time.
Oh yeah.
The hardest part was when he asked us to pray for him to go home. I didn't want him to go, that's my dad. And I had to pray. I know where he's at.
that's right. But see, that's what I say, you get to a point in your life where you've done all you can do. And the more you can do, you're losing your mind and you can't drive. And they take my license, it's over, that's my issue. You can't drive, I mean, you can't do nothing. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I put it way down, thank God.
He said he's taking a Subaru to heaven. We had that conversation the other day.
I don't lie for it.
My
That's
step,
American made.
Yeah, I'm American.
My stepdad-
American muscle.
my stepdad jokes that if he gets to that point, he's gonna strap himself to his tractor and drive off into the pond. And I said, it'd be kind of funny if you did that and you didn't get deep enough. You just kind of You'd be like, I'd do this then.
But here's, it's important. This is how you get there. Don't forsake the Old Testament. If the Old Testament wasn't no good, tear it out of your Bible. You know what I mean? It's everything. If God felt like we didn't need the Old Testament, He wouldn't put it there. He wouldn't put it there. And people got to get understanding that God in the Old Testament is who God really is. God don't play. People think He plays. He don't. He's laughing at other people going, "You an idiot. I've opened the door for you to get here. I've done everything. I've tugged and I've pulled and I've slapped you over the head and I've hit you in the back. I've done everything." And He says, "You're mine. It won't be long. You're going to stand for me." And I'm going to tell you, life goes just like that. And I want y'all to know this last thing in closing. You will be forgotten.
Yeah.
Understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You was not, nobody knew you before you were born, and there's nobody going to know you when you're dead and gone
Take
after
you out
100
of your
years.
life.
I'm telling you what, it's the truth.
And they'll sell your stuff.
Everybody
Fight
stand,
over it.
everybody stand for it. They ain't going to sell mine, but I'm going to sell it for them. I'm getting rid of everything. I'm getting my money.
That's